So in OFA, we give you three basic types of profiles: decision point, range, and swing. And while the underlying logic there is that you have three different configurations for three different sort of types of trade, the idea is that you can change the default settings on these to anything that you want, so that you have three different configured profiles. So it doesn't have to follow my logic. It can just be any three settings that you want. And then on top of that, you need to remember that there's a difference between a profile that is drawn historically, meaning it's not utilizing any live data. This is just back in history, as well as when I include the live data. And now you can see that the configuration, I have it to switch to the right edge of the chart. So you can assign those changes as you see fit for each one. So let's go through this real quick, and I'll give you an example. In fact, let's start with just a basic decision point profile, because I believe my settings are the defaults. So on decision point, you can see that if I draw a historical profile on a decision point, that is what I get. The profile is set up to go from left to right. I'm only showing a limited amount of data here. I'm not showing all these different lines or other things. In this case, I can see the VWAP, I can see the point of control, and probably the value area here. So if I want to make changes to that, I just click on the profile so that I get the little handles, and then right click and go to my volume profile settings. So here's where I can add whatever lines I want. In this case, as I said, it's a decision point. So 9 times out of 10 for me, this is going to be a historical profile where I don't want a bunch of stuff shown. All it does is get in the way. I want the least amount of information shown that is useful to me. So on the general tab here, I'm only showing the VWAP line. That's the only thing that's enabled. But let's just say that I also wanted to show for whatever reason, I needed to see all of the other. Let's do upper value and lower value. I wanted to see those, and I didn't want to see the profile. I wanted it to be just lines, so that I'm not looking at a bunch of histogram overlapping the bars. Well, I could go to the profile settings part, and I could uncheck the I don't want to see the point of control, and I don't want to see the value area. And if I don't want to see any of the profile at all, I could go in and make this transparent. And now what I've done is removed all of everything that was there. And if I just click OK, that's what it's going to do. But if I draw another decision point profile, it's going to be the old way, right? So I need to go into the settings. Oh, obviously the market's moving a little bit. So if I go into those same settings and I apply it, well, now what I've done is I've saved that as the default setting. So if I go and make another decision point profile, it's going to be exactly like that, right? And so what I can also do then is say, well, what if it's live, I want it to be different. So let's go back to the settings and go to profile, and you can see here there's two settings, right? So right now they're both set to the left. Live align means when I'm including live data, and profile align means when it's just historical, like it is here. Well, both of them right now are going left to right. Okay, so if I close this, and let's just say I want to make this one live, I can either drag it over, or I can enable the live tracking, and that'll do it for me. Well, you can see it's still all on the left, right? Because the setting is that way. So if I go into this and change the setting on the profile tab from live align left to live align right, now when I say OK, it's all going to be on this side, right? So I can set that up based on whether it's a historical profile or a live profile if I want to change where it lands. So I like to have my live profiles on the right and my historical profiles on the left, because that allows me to draw on the actual area that I'm analyzing live in some historical manners. So as an example, I might grab another type of profile and profile this part inside of that. Well, now I can see what's going on left to right on a historical point inside of here, or on some other part of the profile. So another example of that would be if I made this one live. and I only wanted to watch the range down here of the larger swing. Now they're not overlapping. Okay, and again, once I have them set the way I want for each individual one, I can go in and click OK. I'm sorry, on the profile settings, I can click Apply. And that would, any changes that I made to my range profile, every time I made a new range profile after hitting Apply, it would save those defaults. So the same is true with swing. So you've got 3 different ways to save it, and then within each one you've got the ability to determine whether or not during live you want it to be on the right or on the left, and historical, do you want it to be on the right or on the left. Then down below, obviously, if you've got AlgoX, your active profiles are for how you interact with AlgoX. So it's almost like having a whole nother set of profiles. You're just drawing one that's automatically active when you draw it. You don't have to go in and enable anything for AlgoX. So hopefully this answers your question. I don't want my settings for my decision point to look like this. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to take those out, and I want to get my profile back. So I'm going to make this go to silver, and I want the point of control, and I want the value area. And now it's getting back to where it was. And again, I want this to always line up on the left because decision points I just use in a totally different way. So I'm going to apply this and say OK, and now my profile is back where it needs to be. And you can see my live one is still over here the other way because this is my historical one. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out with any questions on how to configure your profiles. A lot of people want them to look exactly like mine do in the videos, but then they go in and make a whole bunch of changes to them, screwing around, and then they can't get back to where they started. So I always look at it from the standpoint that less is more. I want to see less stuff, and then I can add to it versus overwhelming my screen with a bunch of stuff every single time I put a profile on there.